Imagine the humid, green expanses of the Yucatan Peninsula, where the dense canopy of trees conceals ancient stone cities. Here, the Maya built towering pyramids, steep steps leading to platforms where priests offered sacrifices to appease the gods. Thousands of miles away, beneath the scorching Egyptian sun, another civilization carved a similar legacy in stone. Pyramids rising above the shifting sands of Giza, defying time and gravity. At first glance, these two cultures seem worlds apart. The Maya thrived in the New World, isolated by oceans and geography, while the Egyptians flourished along the fertile banks of the Nile. Their languages, climates, and resources couldn't have been more different. Yet, when you look closely, the similarities are too striking to ignore. The pyramid paradox. Both civilizations built pyramids, but why? For the Egyptians, these monumental structures were tombs, eternal stairways to the heavens, meant to transport their pharaohs to an afterlife among the gods. The Mayas' pyramids served as temples, places of sacrifice, and observatories. Despite these differing purposes, the shared architectural feat is undeniable. Perfect geometric precision, astronomical alignments, and a scale that dwarfs humanity. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built around 2560 BCE, remained the tallest man-made structure on Earth for millennia. Its angles align precisely with cardinal directions, and its dimensions encode mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio. Meanwhile, the Maya's pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, constructed nearly 3,000 years later, is equally astonishing. During the equinoxes, the interplay of light and shadow creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down the pyramid steps, a phenomenon only possible with advanced astronomical knowledge. How did two civilizations separated by such vast distances master similar techniques? Were these achievements born solely of human ingenuity, or is there evidence of a deeper, hidden connection? Shared mastery of astronomy. Both the Egyptians and the Maya were obsessive stargazers. For the Egyptians, the annual flooding of the Nile was tied to the heliacal rising of Sirius, brightest star in the night sky. This celestial event marked the start of their calendar year, ensuring agricultural success. Similarly, the Maya tracked Venus with astonishing accuracy, crafting a calendar so precise it rivals modern astronomical calculations. These societies didn't just observe the skies, they worshipped them. For both, the heavens were a divine map, their gods living among the stars. The Egyptian sky goddess Nut arched over the earth, swallowing the sun each night and birthing it anew at dawn. The Maya, too, personified celestial phenomena, linking their rulers to cosmic forces to justify their divine right to rule. But how did such parallel systems of celestial understanding develop? Independently? Was it mere coincidence, or did ancient travelers exchange ideas across oceans long before Columbus? Theories of connection. Scholars have proposed various explanations for these uncanny similarities. One theory suggests these parallels arose organically due to the universality of human experience. After all, the sun rises and sets everywhere, and its vital role in life and agriculture makes it a logical focal point for religious reverence. Similarly, the triangular shape of pyramids could simply be a practical way to build stable structures with limited tools. Yet, alternative theories push the boundaries of conventional history. Could ancient mariners have bridged the Atlantic long before recorded transcontinental voyages? Some point to artifacts like the Olmec heads, colossal stone carvings in Mesoamerica with features resembling African faces, as evidence of cross-cultural exchange. Others cite the discovery of coca and nicotine, plants native to the Americas, in Egyptian mummies as potential proof of ancient trade. These possibilities raise provocative questions. Did the Egyptians and Maya inherit their architectural and astronomical knowledge from an even older, now lost civilization, as proponents of the Atlantis hypothesis suggest? Or Was there a forgotten network of seafarers who connected the ancient world in ways we've yet to uncover? The role of mythology. Even their mythologies show echoes of each other. Both cultures believed in a cyclical nature of time, where creation and destruction were part of an eternal cosmic dance. For the Egyptians, the god Osiris represented death and rebirth. His body resurrected each year as crops grew along the Nile. The Mayas' Popol Vuh tells of multiple creations and destructions, with gods experimenting until they fashioned humanity from maize. Both civilizations revered the underworld, a shadowy realm of trials and transformations. The Egyptian Duat was a treacherous passage the soul navigated to achieve eternal life, while the Maya spoke of Xibalba, a place of darkness filled with gods who tested the dead. Even their depictions of these realms, rivers, trials, and judgments bear striking resemblances, a legacy of wonder. Today, the ruins of these civilizations continue to captivate us. The Egyptian pyramids stand as enduring symbols of human ambition and mystery, while the Mayas' temples rise above their jungle surroundings, whispering of forgotten ceremonies and secrets. Despite centuries of study, we still don't fully understand how either civilization achieved such monumental feats. What tools did they use to cut and transport massive stones? How did they achieve such precision without modern technology? And most intriguingly, why do their achievements feel like two chapters of the same story? Perhaps the most profound connection lies not in their similarities, but in their shared message to us. Both the Maya and the Egyptians remind us that humanity, even in isolation, is capable of extraordinary things. Their legacies urge us to look beyond boundaries of time, space, and imagination, and wonder what other mysteries lie hidden in the chapters of history we've yet to uncover. Closing the first chapter. As we explore the next civilizations, consider this. Were the Maya and the Egyptians anomalies, or part of a larger, interconnected ancient world? How many more mysteries might we uncover if we dared to connect the dots? Stay with me as we unravel the next piece of the puzzle. The hidden parallels between the Indus Valley and Mesopotamia. From the fertile plains of the Indus River to the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, two ancient civilizations, separated by thousands of miles, shaped the foundations of urban life as we know it. The Indus Valley civilization, modern-day Pakistan and India, and Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, are considered two of the world's earliest cradles of civilization. But what if these societies were more interconnected than we've ever imagined? The birth of urban sophistication. Around 3300 BCE, as Sumerian cities began to flourish in Mesopotamia, parallel story was unfolding along the Indus River. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro rose with remarkable sophistication. They featured complex grid layouts, advanced drainage systems, and uniform brick sizes, an urban planning feat that wouldn't reappear for millennia. In Mesopotamia, cities like Ur and Uruk were also breaking ground with monumental architecture, ziggurats, and early written records on clay tablets. Despite their distinct styles, these civilizations shared core principles of urbanization, central governing hubs, specialized labor, and trade networks, connecting distant lands. How could such similar advancements arise independently? This question grows more intriguing when we consider the possibility of direct exchanges between the two. Evidence of trade and exchange. The most tangible link between the Indus Valley and Mesopotamia is trade. Archaeological records show that merchants from the Indus Valley reached Mesopotamian cities by land and sea. Indus seals, distinctive stone-carved amulets with pictographs, have been found in Mesopotamian sites, while Mesopotamian goods, like lapis lazuli, appear in the ruins of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. The Mesopotamians referred to a distant land they called Maluha, described as a source of exotic goods such as timber, gold, and ivory. Scholars widely believe Maluha refers to the Indus Valley. But how did these trade networks function? Did merchants from Harappa sail the Persian Gulf, or did Mesopotamian traders make the perilous journey eastward? While no ancient map confirms these routes, the existence of Indus seals in Mesopotamian temples and warehouses suggests a well-established exchange of goods and ideas, shared innovations. Both civilizations left enduring marks on history through their innovations. The Mesopotamians developed cuneiform, one of the earliest writing systems, to record laws, transactions, and stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh. In the Indus Valley, a unique script of pictographs, still undeciphered, was etched into seals and pottery. Even without fully understanding the Indus script, researchers note shared purposes. Both writing systems facilitated governance, trade, and religious practices. Could these scripts have influenced each other? Could the similarities in their symbolic representations hint at early cultural cross-pollination? Further parallels emerge in their technological achievements. Both cultures built extensive irrigation systems to tame their unpredictable rivers. The Tigris and Euphrates often brought destructive floods, while the Indus provided lifeblood for agriculture, albeit with occasional monsoonal extremes. These shared challenges likely drove both societies towards similar solutions, such as canal systems and reservoirs, religious and mythological overlaps. While their gods and rituals were distinct, the spiritual frameworks of Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley share thematic elements. Both societies revered water as sacred, a giver of life and destroyer of civilizations. In Mesopotamia, the god Enki ruled over freshwater and creation, while Indus Valley artifacts suggest water-related rituals, including the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro, a massive structure likely used for purification. Their mythology also touches on cycles of creation and destruction. The Mesopotamian flood myth, immortalized in the Epic of Gilgamesh, tells of a deluge that wipes out humanity, a story echoed in the flood narratives of many ancient cultures. While no comparable texts have been unearthed in the Indus Valley, the civilization's water-centric architecture hints at a similar reverence for nature's dual power. The mystery of cultural diffusion. The similarities between these civilizations have led to theories of cultural diffusion. Did the Indus Valley influence Mesopotamia, or vice versa? 1. Theory posits that traders exchanged not only goods but also knowledge, from metallurgy to urban planning. But the timeline complicates the picture. The Indus Valley thrived from approximately 3300 to 1300 BCE, with its peak aligning with the rise of Mesopotamian empires like Sumer and Akkad. As the Indus cities declined, perhaps due to climate change or river shifts, Mesopotamia surged forward, expanding into empires like Babylon. Could this staggered timeline suggest that Mesopotamia inherited some of the Indus Valley's lost wisdom? The unanswered questions. Despite growing evidence of interaction, much remains speculative. The collapse of the Indus Valley civilization around 1300 BCE left few written records, and their undeciphered script adds to the enigma. Mesopotamian texts provide glimpses, but their references to Meluhha are tantalizingly vague. Adding to the mystery are striking differences. While Mesopotamia produced grand ziggurats for its gods, the Indus Valley lacked monumental temples or palaces, suggesting a more egalitarian society. How did these differences coexist with their shared traits? Were they competing ideologies or complementary systems? A shared legacy. What's undeniable is that both civilizations laid the groundwork for the modern world. They pioneered urban living, fostered trade networks, and pushed the boundaries of human ingenuity. Their ruins whisper of a time when distant lands were more connected than we often assume. Perhaps the greatest legacy of the Indus Valley and Mesopotamia is their testament to humanity's potential. Despite geographical divides and cultural differences, they remind us that the pursuit of progress is universal. Closing the second chapter. As we move forward, the story becomes even more intricate. Could these early trade networks have reached farther than we imagined, connecting the ancient East and West in ways that challenge our understanding of history? Next, we unravel another piece of the puzzle, the uncanny parallels between the Inca and ancient China. In the Andean highlands of South America, the Inca Empire rose as one of the most sophisticated civilizations of the ancient world. Thousands of miles across the Pacific, the Chinese were building their own legacy, rooted in dynastic cycles, celestial observations, and groundbreaking innovations. These two cultures, separated by vast oceans and distinct geographies, exhibit fascinating parallels, particularly in their profound knowledge of astronomy and the ways they integrated celestial phenomena into their societies. What if their similarities reveal a forgotten story, a connection that defies our traditional understanding of history? Mapping the cosmos. Both the Inca and the Chinese treated the heavens not just as an observational canvas, but as an integral part of governance and daily life. For the Inca, the sky was a spiritual map. They meticulously studied the Milky Way, which they called Mayu, or the Celestial River. This celestial band mirrored the sacred rivers and mountains of their earthly realm. They identified constellations not just by the stars but also by the dark spaces between them, known as dark constellations. For example, the Dark Llama, Yakana, constellation-guided agricultural cycles and rituals. Similarly, in ancient China, the night sky was a dynamic chart for governance and fortune. Astronomers in the Zhou dynasty, 1046 to 256 BCE, developed star maps to guide imperial decisions, believing the emperor's mandate to rule was tied to the harmony of the heavens. Celestial events, such as eclipses or comets, were considered omens that could foretell the rise or fall of dynasties. Chinese astronomers also divided the night sky into lunar mansions and constellations that aligned with earthly activities like farming, warfare, and navigation. How could such detailed astronomical systems develop independently in such distant cultures? Could there be an ancient exchange of celestial knowledge? Or do these similarities speak to a universal human drive to understand the cosmos? Calendars and agricultural mastery. Both civilizations relied on complex calendars that blended astronomy and agriculture. The Inca developed a solar calendar using solar pillars, Intihuatana stones, to track solstices and equinoxes. These stones, strategically placed on mountaintops and in ceremonial centers like Machu Picchu, cast shadows that marked key dates. For the Inca, this knowledge was critical. Their survival depended on synchronizing planting and harvests with the seasons. Ancient China's agricultural calendar was equally sophisticated. The 24 solar terms, divisions of the year based on the sun's movement, guided farmers in sowing and reaping. This calendar, codified during the Han Dynasty, 202 BCE, 220 CE, was used to align agriculture with the solar year, much like the Inca relied on the positioning of their sacred stones. Both systems underscore an intimate connection between celestial movements and earthly cycles, yet their striking parallels invite the question: were these achievements truly independent? Monumental alignments. The architectural feats of both civilizations reveal an obsession with aligning their structures to celestial phenomena. Inca cities like Cusco and ceremonial centers such as Sacsayhuaman were designed to mimic the heavens, with buildings and streets aligned to the solstices, equinoxes, and constellations. Cusco itself was shaped like a puma, a sacred animal tied to their cosmology. In China, ancient cities like Xi'an, the capital during the Tang Dynasty, were planned using principles of feng shui and cosmology. The imperial city aligned with cardinal directions, reflecting the emperor's role as a mediator between heaven and earth. Temples like the Temple of Heaven in Beijing were carefully constructed to symbolize the cosmos, with circular designs representing the heavens and square foundations symbolizing earth. These architectural parallels suggest a shared philosophy that human settlements should mirror the divine order of the universe. Sacred mountains and pilgrimage. For the Inca, mountains were sacred, living deities that connected the earth to the sky. The peaks surrounding Machu Picchu, for example, were believed to house spirits and served as pilgrimage sites. The Inca considered these mountains the intermediaries between the heavens and humanity. In ancient China, mountains also held spiritual significance. The five great mountains, Wuyu, were seen as the pillars of the world, connecting heaven and earth. Emperors would make pilgrimages to these peaks to perform rituals ensuring cosmic harmony and the well-being of their empire. Both cultures viewed mountains as sacred connectors between the physical and celestial realms, reinforcing their shared reverence for the natural world. Astronomical instruments and observatories. While separated by vast distances, both civilizations developed tools to study the stars. The Inca relied on simple yet effective methods, such as quechua, rope, diagrams, and solar observatories like the Intihuatana. These instruments allowed them to track solar movements with astonishing precision. Meanwhile, in China, advances in astronomy led to the creation of intricate instruments, such as armillary spheres and celestial globes. During the Han Dynasty, Chinese scientists even developed water-powered clocks to track celestial time, a technological leap unmatched in the ancient world. Despite their technological differences, the shared goal of decoding the heavens speaks to a common human endeavor to bridge the gap between Earth and the divine. Philosophical commonalities. Both the Inca and Chinese civilizations viewed their rulers as divinely ordained mediators between heaven and earth. The Inca emperor, or Sapa Inca, was considered a descendant of Inti, the sun god. His role was not just political but spiritual, ensuring that his people lived in harmony with the cosmos. In China, the emperor was seen as the son of heaven, holding the mandate of heaven, Tianming. This divine mandate justified his rule, but it could be revoked if natural disasters or astronomical anomalies signaled his failure to maintain cosmic balance. These shared ideologies reflect a profound belief in the interconnectedness of celestial, natural, and human realms. Unraveling the mystery of the Pacific. Could these parallels indicate an ancient trans-Pacific connection? While mainstream archaeology dismisses direct contact between the Inca and ancient China, some theories challenge this assumption. Advocates of early seafaring point to the Polynesians, who navigated vast distances across the Pacific. Could they have acted as intermediaries, transmitting knowledge between Asia and the Americas? Artifacts like Chinese jade, reportedly found in pre-Columbian contexts, and the Incas' advanced masonry techniques, which bear similarities to ancient Chinese engineering, add fuel to these theories. Though evidence remains inconclusive, the possibility of a forgotten trans-Pacific link reshapes our understanding of ancient history. A shared cosmic legacy. The Inca and Chinese civilizations remind us that the human desire to understand the cosmos transcends borders. Their astronomical achievements, deeply intertwined with their cultures, reveal a shared reverence for the heavens and an enduring legacy of innovation. These parallels also raise profound questions. How did such similar worldviews arise independently? Could ancient mariners or traders have bridged these distant worlds? Or do their similarities simply reflect the universality of human ingenuity? Beneath the dense jungles of Mesoamerica, colossal stone heads gaze toward the horizon. These enigmatic monuments belong to the Olmec, one of the earliest civilizations of the Americas. Thousands of miles away, across the vast Pacific, the Polynesians navigated open seas, leaving behind monumental carvings like the Moai of Easter Island. These two cultures, separated by oceans and millennia, share tantalizing similarities that challenge conventional notions of isolation in ancient history. What if the Olmec and Polynesians, seemingly worlds apart, were connected by ancient maritime networks? Could their shared artistic expressions, cultural practices, and navigation techniques reveal a forgotten story of transoceanic exchange? Colossal stone carvings. The Olmec are renowned for their colossal stone heads, some weighing up to 50 tons. These sculptures, with their rounded features and distinctive headgear, are shrouded in mystery. Scholars debate their purpose. Were they portraits of rulers, deities, or warriors? Their craftsmanship demonstrates not only advanced quarrying techniques, but also a sophisticated understanding of transportation, as these heads were often carved from basalt sourced miles away. On the other side of the Pacific, the Polynesians created the Moai of Easter Island. Like the Olmec heads, these statues are monumental in scale and intricately carved from volcanic stone. The Moai, which stand facing inland, are believed to represent ancestral spirits, guardians of their communities. The parallels are striking. Both cultures dedicated immense resources to create these massive sculptures, imbuing them with spiritual significance. Could these similarities hint at a shared cultural impulse, or perhaps an exchange of ideas across the oceans? Navigators of land and sea. The Olmec, though not known as seafarers, demonstrated remarkable connectivity within their region, trading jade, obsidian, and ceramics across Mesoamerica. Archaeological evidence suggests they were part of a vast trade network, connecting cultures as far as the Valley of Mexico and the Maya lowlands. This network hints at the Olmec's capability for organized transport and exploration. In contrast, the Polynesians are celebrated as the world's greatest ancient navigators. Using double-hulled canoes and celestial navigation, they colonized thousands of islands across the Pacific, spanning an area larger than any other ancient civilization. Without compasses or maps, Polynesian voyagers relied on star charts, ocean swells, and even bird flight patterns to traverse the open seas with incredible precision. Could these maritime skills have brought Polynesians into contact with the Americas? Recent studies suggest it's possible. Genetic evidence reveals that Polynesians interbred with South Americans as early as 1200 CE, centuries before European contact. This finding opens the door to a deeper question. Could such contact have occurred even earlier? Artistic and cultural parallels. The artistic expressions of the Olmec and Polynesians exhibit intriguing overlaps. Both cultures emphasized facial features in their monumental sculptures, with an almost exaggerated focus on eyes and mouths. The Olmec heads display a unique helmet-like adornment, while some Polynesian carvings, particularly on Easter Island, feature headdresses or topknots. Their shared use of specific materials is also notable. The Olmec worked extensively with jade, crafting intricate masks and figurines. Jade was considered sacred, symbolizing immortality and divine power. Similarly, Polynesians revered greenstone, a type of jade, using it to carve ceremonial weapons and ornaments. Cultural practices further deepen the mystery. Both societies placed great importance on ancestor worship. The Moai were erected to honor Polynesian forebears, while Olmec artifacts suggest rituals centered on lineage and spiritual continuity. This reverence for ancestors and the monumental efforts to honor them suggest a universal human drive. But the specific parallels between the two are hard to dismiss. Shared agricultural knowledge. Both the Olmec and Polynesians thrived in challenging environments, demonstrating agricultural ingenuity. The Olmec cultivated maize, beans, and squash, pioneering chinampas, floating gardens that maximized agricultural output in swampy regions. Their ability to transform inhospitable landscapes into fertile farmland allowed their civilization to flourish. Similarly, Polynesians cultivated crops like taro, sweet potatoes, and breadfruit across diverse island ecosystems. Their most intriguing crop, however, is the sweet potato, native to the Americas. Polynesians were growing sweet potatoes on remote islands like Easter Island long before Europeans arrived, suggesting they acquired this crop through contact with the Americas. How did this exchange occur? Some propose Polynesians reached South America, traded with coastal societies, and brought back sweet potatoes, a tantalizing clue to their maritime reach. Architectural curiosities. Both civilizations left behind enigmatic architectural structures. The Olmec constructed ceremonial centers like La Vinta and San Lorenzo, featuring pyramids, plazas, and ball courts aligned with astronomical events. Their sites were spiritual hubs where rituals connected earth and sky. Polynesian sacred sites, known as Meri, served similar purposes. These open-air temples, often lined with upright stones, were places for worship, sacrifice, and community gatherings. The precise alignments of these structures to celestial phenomena echo the Olmec's use of architecture to bridge the terrestrial and the divine. The similarity in their architectural approaches suggests a shared cultural priority, creating spaces where the sacred intersected with daily life. The possibility of ancient maritime contact. The idea of transoceanic contact between the Olmec and Polynesians has long been considered fringe. However, growing evidence invites a reevaluation. Genetic studies reveal traces of Polynesian ancestry in ancient South American populations, while linguistic parallels between Polynesian and South American languages suggest a potential link. Thor Heyerdahl's 1947 Kon-Tiki expedition demonstrated that it was possible for ancient mariners to travel from South America to Polynesia using simple rafts. Though his theories remain controversial, they unearthed the feasibility of early transoceanic voyages. Could the Polynesians, with their unparalleled navigation skills, have reached the Olmec heartland, or vice versa? While definitive proof remains elusive, the possibility redefines our understanding of ancient maritime history. The legacy of the oceanic connection. Whether through direct contact or parallel evolution, the Olmec and Polynesians remind us of humanity's capacity for innovation and connection. Their colossal sculptures, agricultural ingenuity, and architectural achievements reveal a shared determination to transcend their environments. Their legacies also challenge us to reconsider the boundaries of the ancient world. If these distant cultures were capable of contact, what other connections might remain undiscovered? How might their stories reshape our understanding of global history? Closing the fourth chapter. As the mystery deepens, the ocean no longer seems an insurmountable barrier. It becomes a bridge. From the bustling cities of Mesopotamia, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates, to the advanced urban centers of the Indus Valley along the Indus River, these ancient civilizations laid the foundation for organized trade and cultural exchange. The Indus Valley Civilization, 3300 to 1300 BCE, and Mesopotamia, 3100 to 539 BCE, are separated by over 1,500 miles, yet their archaeological remnants suggest a profound connection. What if these two cultures weren't isolated, but intertwined through trade, shared technologies, and mutual influences? This chapter uncovers the intricate web of relationships that may have linked the first great civilizations of the ancient world. Shared urban sophistication. Both civilizations are among humanity's earliest urban societies. Mesopotamia's cities like Uruk and Ur thrived as centers of trade, religion, and governance. Similarly, the Indus cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro boasted advanced urban planning, including standardized bricks, drainage systems, and public baths. Remarkably, both civilizations used strikingly similar grid patterns for city layouts. Streets were aligned in perpendicular angles, emphasizing order and organization. This shared design principle suggests not only parallel innovation but possibly a transfer of urban planning concepts. While Mesopotamian cities often revolved around grand religious ziggurats, Indus cities lacked such monumental temples, indicating a potentially more egalitarian social structure. Still, the parallels between their civic designs raise questions. Were these independent developments or evidence of cross-cultural exchange? The Meluhha connection. The clearest evidence of a link between the two civilizations lies in trade. Mesopotamian records frequently reference a land called Meluha, described as a source of exotic goods like ivory, gold, carnelian, and lapis lazuli. Most scholars agree that Meluha refers to the Indus Valley. Archaeological finds confirm this connection. Indus seals, distinctive, stone-carved artifacts used for identification and trade, have been unearthed. In Mesopotamian cities, these seals, often depicting animals and abstract symbols, reflect the Indus Valley's complex economic system and cultural identity. Similarly, Mesopotamian pottery and jewelry appear in Harappan ruins, indicating a reciprocal exchange of goods. This trade network likely relied on both land and sea routes. Overland caravans connected the Indus to the Iranian plateau and Mesopotamia, while maritime routes traversed the Arabian Sea and the Persian Gulf. The discovery of an ancient dockyard at Lat Hal, a prominent Indus city, further underscores the civilization's maritime capabilities. Goods that traveled across lands. The goods exchanged between the two regions reveal much about their interconnected economies and cultures. 1. Indus to Mesopotamia. Carnelian beads, a hallmark of Indus craftsmanship, adorned Mesopotamian elites. Timber and ivory, scarce in Mesopotamia, were highly sought. After, cotton textiles, first cultivated in the Indus Valley, became valuable exports. 2. Mesopotamia to the Indus. Lapis lazuli, primarily sourced from Afghanistan, passed through Mesopotamian trade hubs before reaching the Indus Valley. Mesopotamian pottery styles and motifs influenced Indus Valley. Ceramics, grain and other staples, transported along land routes, may have supplemented Indus agricultural yields during lean seasons. These exchanges weren't merely economic, they were cultural bridges. The goods carried stories, technologies, and traditions between distant lands. Technological and artistic cross-pollination. The trade links likely facilitated technological and artistic cross-pollination. Both civilizations displayed advanced metallurgical skills, crafting intricate tools, ornaments, and statues from copper, bronze, and gold. Did they independently develop these techniques, or did they share knowledge through trade? Artistic similarities further highlight potential connections. Both civilizations employed seals for identification and commerce. While the Indus seals featured animals and pictographs, Mesopotamian seals often depicted mythological scenes and cuneiform text. Despite their differences, the underlying function of these artifacts suggests mutual inspiration. The wheel, a transformative innovation, appears in both regions. Though its origins are debated, its presence in Mesopotamian carts and Indus pottery underscores its pivotal role in both societies. Religious and mythological echoes. The spiritual practices of Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley exhibit intriguing overlaps. Mesopotamian texts like the Enuma Elish describe creation myths involving gods battling primordial forces. Similarly, the Indus Valley's scant artifacts, such as seals depicting horned deities and yogic postures, hint at early Hindu cosmology. Water played a sacred role in both cultures. The Mesopotamians revered the Tigris and Euphrates as life-giving forces governed by deities like Enki, the god of freshwater and wisdom. The Indus Valley's Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro suggests ritual purification, a practice that parallels later Hindu traditions, involving rivers like the Ganges. While their religious systems differed, their shared reverence for water reflects a universal understanding of its spiritual and practical significance. The collapse and the continuity. Both civilizations experienced mysterious declines. The Indus Valley began to fade around 1300 BCE, likely due to climate change, river shifts, or societal pressures. Mesopotamia faced its own challenges, from invasions to resource depletion, yet it persisted longer, evolving into the Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian empires. Despite these declines, their legacies endured. The Indus script remains undeciphered, but its symbols influenced later South Asian cultures. Similarly, Mesopotamia's cuneiform writing laid the groundwork for future alphabets. Their innovations in trade, governance, and technology shaped the ancient world and continue to inspire modern societies. The unresolved mystery. Despite compelling evidence of trade and cultural exchange, many questions remain unanswered. Why did the Indus Valley civilization vanish so abruptly? What happened to its people and their knowledge systems? Did Mesopotamian merchants directly influence Indus cities, or were their interactions mediated through intermediaries like the Elamites of present-day Iran? One theory posits that climatic shifts disrupted these connections, severing the arteries of ancient globalization. As rivers dried and trade routes faltered, the once thriving relationship between these civilizations faded into history. A model for globalization. The Indus-Mesopotamian relationship demonstrates that globalization isn't a modern phenomenon. Long before the Silk Road or the Age of Exploration, these ancient societies pioneered networks of exchange that transcended geography and culture. Their story serves as a reminder that human ingenuity has always sought connection. Despite the barriers of mountains, deserts, and seas, the urge to trade, learn, and grow unite civilizations across time. Closing the fifth chapter. The Indus Valley and Mesopotamia offer a glimpse into the roots of human interconnectedness. But were they unique, or part of an even larger network of ancient global exchange? As we approach the final key point, we delve into the mysterious parallels between ancient Egypt and the Maya, two civilizations that achieved astonishing feats of architecture and astronomy, while separated by oceans and millennia. The deserts of Egypt and the dense jungles of Mesoamerica are worlds apart. Yet, the ancient civilizations that thrived in these distinct environments, Egypt and the Maya, share parallels that defy explanation. Their architectural wonders, celestial alignments, and spiritual worldviews invite an unsettling question. How did two cultures separated by thousands of miles arrive at such strikingly similar achievements? In this final chapter, we explore the uncanny connections between ancient Egypt and the Maya, two civilizations that may have more in common than history suggests. Pyramids across continents. The pyramids of Egypt and the stepped pyramids of the Maya are among humanity's most enduring symbols of ingenuity. Both civilizations constructed these monumental structures with precision and purpose, embedding them with astronomical significance. 1. The Great Pyramid of Giza, circa 2560 BCE, stands as a testament to the Egyptians' mastery of geometry and engineering. Its dimensions and code, mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio, and its alignment with true north is nearly perfect. 2. The Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, circa 1000 CE, is equally impressive. During the equinoxes, a play of light and shadow creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down its steps, a tribute to the Maya's celestial knowledge. While the Egyptians built their pyramids as tombs, the Maya used theirs as temples. Yet, both served as spiritual bridges between earth and the heavens, linking rulers to their gods. How did two civilizations with no known contact create such similar architectural marvels? Astronomical obsessions. Both Egypt and the Maya were captivated by the stars. Their civilizations rose and fell with the cycles of the cosmos, and their celestial observations guided everything from agriculture to religion. Egypt. The Egyptians revered the heliacal rising of Sirius, which heralded the annual flooding of the Nile. This event was so critical to their survival that it became the basis for their calendar. Temples like Abu Simbel were aligned to solar events, with sunlight illuminating the inner sanctum only on specific days of the year. Maya. The Maya developed one of the most advanced calendars of the ancient world, tracking solar and lunar cycles with astonishing accuracy. Their observatories, like the one at Uxmal, were designed to study celestial bodies, while their rituals were timed to align with eclipses and equinoxes. Both cultures saw the cosmos as a divine map, with celestial movements influencing their earthly affairs. Were these parallels coincidental, or did they share a deeper, unknown connection? Sacred kings and divine mandates. Egyptian pharaohs and Maya kings both claimed divine authority, serving as intermediaries between their people and the gods. In Egypt, the pharaoh was considered the living embodiment of Horus, the falcon god, and a descendant of Ra, the sun god. His rule ensured cosmic order, Ma'at, and his death promised eternal life through elaborate burial rites. Similarly, Maya kings linked their lineage to celestial deities, legitimizing their power through blood sacrifices and monumental inscriptions. Their rituals often involved self-mutilation or human sacrifice, acts believed to sustain cosmic balance. Both systems revolved around the idea that rulers maintained harmony between the heavens and earth, a concept that transcended geography, mummification, and ritual death. Egyptians and the Maya developed intricate rituals around death and the afterlife, reflecting their shared belief in a cyclical cosmos. Egypt. Mummification preserved the body for its journey to the afterlife. The Book of the Dead provided a roadmap for the soul, guiding it through trials in the Duat underworld to reach eternal life. Maya. While not practicing mummification, the Maya buried their dead with offerings and jade masks, believed to protect them in Xibalba, their underworld. Ritualistic death, whether through sacrifice or ceremonial burial, was central to their cosmology. In both cultures, death was not an end but a transformation, part of a larger cosmic cycle. Could these beliefs reflect shared spiritual origins? Hieroglyphs and sacred texts. The Egyptians and the Maya both developed hieroglyphic writing systems to document their history, religion, and governance. Egyptian hieroglyphs, carved into stone temples and papyrus scrolls, chronicled everything from royal decrees to hymns for the gods. These texts provided insight into their advanced bureaucracy and deep spiritual beliefs. Maya hieroglyphs, painted on codices and inscribed on monuments, preserved their history and cosmology. The Popol Vuh, a sacred Maya text, describes the creation of the world and the hero twins who journeyed through the underworld. While their scripts differ visually, both served as sacred tools to immortalize their civilizations. Could this convergence point to an ancient exchange of ideas? Mythological resonances. The mythologies of Egypt and the Maya share thematic similarities, particularly their emphasis on cycles of creation and destruction. Egypt, the daily journey of Ra, the sun god, through the underworld symbolized the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. Myths like the death and resurrection of Osiris reinforce this theme. Maya. The Popol Vuh tells of multiple creations and destructions, with gods refining humanity over time. The Mayas' rituals often reenacted these cosmic battles, reflecting their belief in a universe defined by renewal. Both cultures envisioned a universe governed by cosmic forces, where human actions could influence divine outcomes. Their myths underscore shared understanding of life's cyclical nature. Theories of connection. The parallels between Egypt and the Maya have fueled theories of transoceanic contact. Some scholars argue that ancient mariners could have bridged the Atlantic long before Columbus. Artifacts like the so-called cocaine mummies, which contain traces of New World plants, suggest a potential link. Others point to architectural similarities, such as pyramid construction, as evidence of shared knowledge. While mainstream archaeology attributes these parallels to independent innovation, the possibility of a forgotten global network cannot be dismissed. Legacy of wonder. Today, the pyramids of Egypt and the Maya stand as enduring symbols of human achievement. They remind us that ancient civilizations, despite their isolation, were capable of extraordinary feats. But their similarities also challenge us to look beyond traditional historical narratives. Were these cultures truly separate, or do their shared accomplishments hint at a deeper, interconnected past? Conclusion. A shared cosmic vision. Ancient Egypt and the Maya show us that humanity's quest to understand the cosmos transcends geography. Their parallel achievements in architecture, astronomy, and spirituality reflect a universal drive to connect with the divine. As we close this journey through 6 ancient civilizations, one truth emerges. The boundaries of history are far more fluid than we imagine. The mysteries of the past are not barriers but bridges, inviting us to rethink what we know about human connection and creativity.